Hello, everyone. Dr. Victoria Scarbo here, speaking to you from the Seeds of Transformation Healing Center in Wareham, Massachusetts. Today is Tuesday, May 25th, and we're going to talk about the full moon, blood moon, total supermoon, lunar eclipse that's occurring today. That's occurring tomorrow. And there are a lot of astrologers out there talking about it, and most of what I've listened to is very good information. So what I thought I would do, though, is I would add a little bit of a different spin by adding the Kabbalah to it. So let's take a look first of all at the eclipse itself. Now, what I'm going to talk about generally is the type of eclipse that we're looking at. Now, we have the chart right here in front of us, and this chart is erected for Washington, D.C. So this would be how the eclipse perhaps will affect the United States of America. I also have it relocated to Israel because I feel like there's a big lesson that is being the classroom is open, and it's open in Israel and Gaza. So let's take a look at the eclipse first. So eclipses are either first of all, eclipses happen twice a year, 6 months apart. Eclipses always occur at the nodes of the moon. Now, what are the nodes of the moon? Well, the nodes of the moon are points in space. In the case of the north node, it is where the orbit of the moon goes north of the ecliptic, and the south node is where the moon travels south of the ecliptic. Traditionally, the north node is considered the direction of the future, our evolutionary cutting edge, as it were. And the south node is considered the past and those things associated with the past. Now, there are different ways of looking at the nodes. As far as I understand, when we look at it through the perspective of the Vedic astrology, or I think it's called Joyish, excuse me if I'm wrong about that. The north node is considered a difficult place and an unlucky place, and the south node is considered very lucky and where you have a lot of your talents, right? The things that you know, the things that you can draw upon. In Western astrology, the north node is considered the sort of evolutionary edge. It's the future. It's the direction of evolution. And the south node is the past and what we need to let go of. Now, I think that there is somewhere in between there is the truth of the nodes. The north node is, in a way, very challenging because we're moving into an unknown future. And the past can sometimes be very comforting, and oftentimes the past can be a trap. It's a trap. Anyway, but the past and the south node, we do have talents and abilities that we bring forth from previous incarnations. We cannot, we don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater here. We want to utilize the knowledge and the wisdom from the past, but not getting caught up in the dynamic of the past. Being brave enough to step forward into that unknown future. So the major emotion, perhaps we could say, or actually not emotion, the nodes of the moon are dealing with our feelings, right? We are evolving through our feeling nature, through our emotions. At the south node, we can suffer guilt in letting go of certain things. And in the north node, fear. of moving into something we don't understand or we don't know. Guilt and fear are constructs of the mind, not necessarily constructs of our feelings and our emotions. Although you could feel fear and you could feel guilt, I guess. I mean, or you can feel guilt, right? You can feel fear. But you know, that's just a couple of things about the nodes. Now, the north node of the moon, I'm a Western astrologer, so I'm going to sort of err on the side of the Western point of view. The nodes in the moon in your chart is your own evolutionary edge. But the nodes in the sky at this time, at any time, is the evolutionary edge, is the collective evolutionary edge. So we have two types of evolution that occur simultaneously. We have the unconscious evolution of the soul, which is Pluto. Pluto has been in Capricorn since 2008. And Pluto, as an energy, generally evolves through its polarity point. The only time that the polarity point does not count, so to speak, and the polarity point is found 180 degrees away in the opposite sign in the opposite house at the exact opposite degree of where your Pluto sits. The only time that does not apply is when the North Node and Pluto are conjunct. Then we do not evolve through the polarity point, but we evolve through the position by house and sign of Pluto and the North Node. At this point, Pluto is not conjunct the North Node. So we are evolving through Pluto's polarity point. The polarity point of Pluto, of course, in Capricorn would be Cancer. And one of the things that we are evolving towards is emotional self-reliance. No longer looking to daddy, Capricorn, or authority, Capricorn, to solve the problems that we have. It is about following our feelings, and through following our feelings, moving into a new relationship with our sense of authority. Pluto, Capricorn, Pluto, Cancer. The nodes of the moon, now much of that energy that I just described is unconscious. It's unconscious. We're not always conscious of our soul. In fact, the only time we really connect with our soul generally is when we're surrendering to it. When everything else is falling to shit and you have to just accept where you're at and be open to whatever changes are coming your way. Where we are conscious of our evolution is through the nodes of the moon. And so Pluto acts through the nodes of the moon. So Pluto in Capricorn will act through the south node of the moon, and the polarity point of Pluto will act through the north node of the moon. And so what we're asking ourselves to do is to let go, south node, of beliefs, Sagittarius, because that's where the south node is, that keep us aligned with having to go to an authority to see what is best for us. The north node of the moon, through the polarity point of Pluto, talks to us about emotional self-reliance, following our feelings, polarity point of Pluto in Cancer, by evaluating the facts, the information, and what's right in front of us. Gemini. So we have to look at things as they really are and not as we wish or hope or believe them to be. In order to become emotionally self-reliant, we have to trust ourselves. We have to trust the information that's coming in to us. Now, it's very easy for people in power to sort of make these proclamations and this is the way it is and this is the way it is, and influencing us because we trust their authority. We're at a time when we don't trust anybody's authority, and we have to learn to trust our own authority. And that's why we see so many people split. We have one group of people who believe one thing and one group of people that believe another thing. Both of those things, in a way, are based on the fact that we don't trust the authority, right? That's telling us those things. But then some people are trusting an authority that are telling them things, right? So how do you manage that? How do you navigate that? Well, you have to feel your feelings, and you have to see things for what they are. So let's talk about the types of eclipses that we have. We have north node eclipses and south node eclipses. They happen, again, 6 months apart. You know if it's a north node or a south node eclipse by where the sun is. If the sun is close to the south node, we have a south node eclipse. If the sun is close to the north node, we have a north node eclipse. So back in December, I think it was the 14th of December, when the Electoral College said, yes, Joe Biden won the presidency of the United States, we had an eclipse at the south node. We were required to let go, some of us were required to let go of beliefs that we had and look at the facts. Well, not everybody looked at the facts, right? So now on the other side of this, we have a full moon, lunar, blood moon, super moon eclipse on the north node. So the north node says, look at the facts, the north node in Gemini. But before we can go with the new facts, we have to let go of beliefs that no longer serve. And that is really what this full moon lunar eclipse is asking us to do, is to let go of beliefs that we had that no longer serve. That is true on the collective level, it's true politically, it's true personally. So here, if we're looking at this chart here, we have the north node within 5 degrees of the sun. So we know this is the north node eclipse. And here's the moon over here within 5 degrees of the south node. This is the eclipse for the United States. The axis of the eclipse is the 6th and the 12th house. The 6th and the 12th house are the house that's naturally ruled by Pisces and Virgo. Pisces 12th, Virgo 6. And so we have that energy of Pisces and Virgo, which is mutable, but it's also transitional. Pisces transitions from the great cosmic sea in Pisces into the next sign, which is Aries, which is about becoming. And in Virgo, we're internally oriented from Aries to Virgo. The next sign after Virgo is Libra, and then we're asked to become aware of that there are other people in the world, right? So it's this transitional energy, the transitional energy. So there's an energy of feeling like, you know, being born out into something with these two energies. Now, the south node of the moon is in the 6th house of the United States. The 6th house is health. And so this could be letting go of beliefs we have around health or our healthcare system, perhaps that it's the best in the world. Of course, COVID has certainly shown us something else. It's also shown us that if you're poor, you're screwed, right? So letting go of ideas around that. The 6th house is also the military. And so, you know, questioning the way the military functions and what is its function? What is it here to do? The north node in Pisces is about forgiveness, opening up to spirit. It's a mystical, right, sign. It's connecting with cosmic consciousness. It's praying, it's meditating. So we have this North Node in that 12th house, in a way, asking us to ask Spirit for guidance. What information do we need, right? Gemini. Now, the North Node ruler is Mercury, because Gemini is ruled by Mercury. Now, Mercury is at 25 degrees, rounded off, of Gemini, and it is very close to the ascendant of this chart, but it is in the 12th house. So it's hidden in the 12th house. Mercury is about ready to go retrograde. It will go retrograde at 25 degrees Gemini. It's almost standing still. It's going to go retrograde in about 4 days from this eclipse. And so when planets are stationary or slowing down to almost a standstill, they're very powerful. So the information that we get from Spirit is very powerful. Things will be revealed. Plus, what will be revealed, because the 12th house just isn't about Spirit, it's also the house of hidden enemies. And so we're going to find out about hidden enemies that perhaps the US, in this case, because we're looking at the eclipse in the US chart, who they might be. Okay. While letting go of the need, perhaps, and the belief that we are the policemen of the world. Now, this is a possibility. The ruling planet of the South Node, which is in Sagittarius, is Jupiter. Jupiter just moved into Pisces and is there for about 2.5 months, dipping his toe into Pisces. So we're getting a taste of Jupiter in Pisces. Jupiter will be in Pisces from the end of this year, I think the 30th of December, until May of next year. And so we're getting a taste of what it's going to be like at that time. But Jupiter in Pisces, Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac. It is about letting go and letting God, right? And so it's about belief. And it's actually, it isn't square the nodes. It's kind of square the nodes, but it's square the moon. Jupiter is square the moon. And the type of square it is a last quarter crisis in consciousness square. So it is about questioning authority. So there's all kinds of questions. People, regular people, everyday lack-a-day people are saying, what is going on with these people? What is going on? What is going on with this government? What is going on with these rich people? What is going on in Israel? What is going? I mean, people just are like, they're tired of it. They're like, you know, we're not going to bankroll all these great adventures that you put us through to allow other people to suffer. That's how I feel. That's what I see it as. So maybe that's just me. So these are all things that we can see in this eclipse. And we also see that in the 10th house, which is the house of the president in a mundane chart, or the house of the leader, we have Neptune conjunct Pallas Athena in Pisces. Pallas Athena is the goddess of social justice, and Neptune is divinity. It's divine. It is the energy of the divine, unity consciousness. And so there is a deep understanding and very obvious that what you do to the least of them, you do to me, right? So the whole Jesus thing, right? So the other thing that's going on with this is that Neptune at this time is in an opposition to the natal Neptune of the United States. So we are having, which in the Sibley chart is in the 9th house, in Virgo. And this opposition of Neptune that's happening now, it's been happening, takes a couple of years for this to happen. It's happening now, though we're in the middle of it, is to have an awareness of what suffering we're creating in the world. through our the way that we deal with foreign countries. Ninth house. That's where the Sibley Neptune is. So that's going on too. So this is all sort of happening all at once. So that's how I see it in this country. Now let's take a look at Israel. I did Israel because I feel like this Palestinian-Israeli crisis, which isn't the first one they've had, but it is the latest. People are waking up to just what's going on there in a way that they haven't been awake before. There's a lot of empathy for the Palestinians. The person in charge of the Israeli side is a right-wing sort of smote them kind of guy. And, you know, Israel came into being because they moved the Israelis into Palestine. They had to share their country. And so they are a two-state solution would be the best solution for that situation. It would be like Canada coming into America and saying, hey, we can't stay where we were, so we're going to come to you, America, and we're going to become an occupying force, and then we're going to put you in open-air prisons, and we're going to, take away all your we're going to take away your land, we're going to take away your medicine, we're going to, I mean, they're bombing hospitals, and schools, and in a small, highly densely populated area. I think Gaza is like the most densely populated area in the world. And I came from a city that was at one time the most densely populated place in the United States. You can't throw a baseball without hitting somebody in the head. Imagine a rocket. Now, does Israel have the right to protect itself? Yes. And they have that golden dome thing, or the steel dome, or whatever that is, So not that, well, I'm not going to go there. I don't want to talk about that. So how does this eclipse affect Israel? Well, first of all, we have Virgo ascendant for Jerusalem. Virgo ascendant, 28 degrees of Virgo. 2 more degrees, it would be Libra. So we could say a Libra rising, right? If that was the case. The point I'm making is that normally the first house is Aries in a natural chart. So there's a flip here, right? The South Node is in Gemini's house. The North Node in Gemini is in Sagittarius's house. So this is an opportunity. They're at a crossroads, and this is an opportunity to let go of old ideas, third house, old beliefs, South Node in Sagittarius, that they grew up with, perhaps, because the third house is sort of a childhood house, and move into a more reasonable North Node in Gemini way of philosophy, moral and ethics, 9th house, that is aligned with Venus, love, and Mercury, reason. The Neptune Pallas Athena conjunction that is square the ruler of the North Node and square Venus is in the 6th house. 6th house is karmic relationships. It's an opportunity to do some really deep healing. I did a reading on Israel and the Palestinians. I think it's called Israel and Palestine Looking Through Each Other's Eyes. And I did it before I looked at this. I'll put a link below. I think it's a great reading. I have to say I was a little nervous about putting it out there because I didn't want to get attacked. I didn't want to be called anti-Israel. I didn't, it's like, you know, everybody pointing fingers, just exhausting. Luckily, that didn't happen. It might be because not many people watched it. But I will include it down below so you can take a look at that if you wish. So that's what I see for this eclipse. Now, let's look at this from the perspective of the tree of life, because I did promise that, did I not? I did. So we're going to stop this share and we're going to share something else here. We're going to share the tree of life. And what I've done is I've highlighted where Gemini sits on the tree of life and where Sagittarius sits on the tree of life. Sagittarius sits on this path between Tiphereth, which is beauty, associated with the sun, and Yesod, which is the moon. And of course, the moon in this chart is in Sag, and the sun is in Gemini. So I put the sun here. Tiphereth is associated with the sun, Yesod with the moon. This path, this yellow highlighted path, is the path of temperance. It is the 14-5 path, numerologically, and it is associated with Sagittarius. It is also the path of the mystic. It is the path of the holy guardian angel. It is the path where we connect our higher self, found in Tiphereth, with our lower self, found in Yesod. And then we have this path right here, and this is the path of Gemini. Gemini is the energy of duality. This path is associated with the Lover's card, And here we have the sun, the North Node, Venus, and Mercury, all in Gemini in this chart. And here in Sagittarius, we have the moon, the South Node, and this is, it's hard to see. Maybe I'll bring it a little closer for you because I know what it is, but it's even seeing it, it's a little hard. There we go. That is Juno. Juno is how we relate. So what do we need to let go of? South Node in Sag, beliefs around how we relate, and old emotions around these issues. Now, another interesting thing, and here, let me pull this up here. And here we have all the planets in Gemini. This is Bina. Bina is associated with the divine feminine. It is associated with the planet Saturn. We have Saturn in Aquarius now. We have the sun. Oops, sorry. I know what I'm doing. We have the sun in Gemini, right? This is, Bina is understanding. And Bina is a place where we have a dark night of the soul. And we are having that dark night of the soul. And this eclipse is activating it. And a dark night of the soul is simply, we have to come to a new level of understanding, right? Because everything that we based our life on has shifted and is moving and is moving into a different place. So this eclipse is going to be very powerful for many, many people. Now, as far as the day of the eclipse, oops, I keep trying to move something and I'm moving the wrong thing. So this eclipse happens on the 26th of May, 2021. May is the 5th month, the 26th is the 26th day, and 5, because we're in a 2001 is a 5 vibration, we get a 36-9 vibration. That 36-9 is the path. It would be the lesson that we are learning through this experience. Now, this vibration, this 36-9 vibration, first of all, 9 is about forgiveness and unconditional love. It's about the highest of the high and the lowest of the lows. It's humanity. It's the number of humanity. It's the end of a cycle. It's asking us to end something with this eclipse. This is the vibration, the burden bearer. This guy has all his beliefs, all the things he believes, and he's holding them all. And he has so many, there are so many things he's holding that he can't see where he's going. We need to let go of those things that burden us, those things that make us unhappy, those things that make other people unhappy, and move into a place of true spirituality. Sag is about spirituality, but it's also about the natural world and our relationship to the natural world. So there's a lot of themes, there's a lot of things going on with this eclipse. Hopefully you got a little something different from me, and it helps you understand things a little better if that's what you're seeking. So have yourself a great day. Like and subscribe. If you enjoy this, please give me the thumbs up. Thank you to all my watchers, to my students who are taking my Kabbalah and astrology classes. If you are interested in something like that, my website, both my website and my email is down below. You can email me or send something to the website, request information on that. I'm trying to figure out how best to organize my classes so that more people can take them, but I'm still working on that. So have yourself a great day. Like and subscribe. Namaste. Let it go. Let it go.